I'm Steven. That's John. We are from Just Got Played, and we are bringing you MrX's top 25 games of all time. So if you want to know the background from all that, go watch the video from December 1st, where we talked about game number 25. But essentially, we're doing an aggregated list from people. We aggregated their choices and made a top 25. So we are here on December 2nd to tell you about number 24 on the list. And this is a game that is 10 years old now, which is Lords of Waterdeep. This is not Lords of Waterdeep's first time to show up on this list. So this is the 7th iteration of the list. But back in 2018, Lords of Waterdeep showed up as number 17 on the list. But that was its only other appearance. So it's it's gone off and come back on. All right. So, John, do you want to tell us a little bit about how Lords of Waterdeep is played?
Sure. It's a great intro worker placement game where you have a board full of different areas that give you resources. Typically, most areas will give you 2. Some areas will only give you 1, but they're equivalent in their power. You go there, you get the resources, you spend them to complete quests, and in doing so, you gain points. So a very simple formula, but it has a really neat system called the entry deck. And what you do is you draw these entry cards, and when you go to the dock, you play the card, you get the effect on it, and then once everybody has placed all their workers, you get to replay that worker on any available spots. Some of the cards that you draw can be mandatory quests because the theme is Dungeons and Dragons. So as they're trying to go on their quest and recruit people from Skullport and such, you send them on mandatory quests, which is a kind of a negative thing. They have to spend the cubes to get rid of it, and they get less points than they would. But it's very highly player interactive. It is a worker placement game with a lot of theme to it, and it's kind of evergreen at this point. It's been going on for 10 years still. The theme really is evocative of what you're playing through, and it's a great, fairly simple worker placement game that's great for introduction to that mechanic.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you mentioned that as a sort of gateway game. I think it works mostly as a gateway game because of the D&D theme, right? It's not hard to sell people on playing the D&D theme. I do wish the default production of the game could be a little more thematic in that what like wizards are orange cubes,
Yeah.
rogues are black cubes, or whatever. They're just little cubes that just can be any resource at that point, but they're supposed to represent adventurers, that you're using to complete these quests and things. Lords of Waterdeep plays up to 5 players, but if you have the Scoundrels of Skullport expansion, it actually goes up to 6 players. I like to play with that expansion, partially because I like to play the games at higher player counts. But also because it adds 2 modules. There's like Undermountain and Skullport. And Skullport has like all these extra locations that you can go to. So the locations in the base game can get pretty tight. And I know people like that about the game. But particularly with the 6-player, you need more locations. And so Skullport adds that. It gives you more choices. But it's interesting, though, because the Skullport locations, when you go to those, they give you corruption, which is a negative thing. So it gives you this extra, sort of strategic layer, like, I really need that stuff that this is going to give me, but I'm going to take a negative for doing it. And so then I have to deal with the, consequences of that, or clear out the corruption, or, whatever. So, I personally recommend checking out the Scoundrels of Skullport expansion. Definitely if you want to play it with 6 players. But this is, it's a good gateway game for worker placement. And I've definitely brought it out with fairly new gamers in my group. So, John, what do you think about the game?
I definitely enjoy the game. It's one that I played for a lot, and then it kind of fell off. As you said, it was on the list 2017. And it's just not coming back. And I think it's going to do some for a resurgence because it's a game I've never seen someone come away from and said, "Oh, I really hated that." At the very least, you're like, it's a very competent worker placement game, and the theme, like you said, is a little bit. It's really relying on what's come previously. You got to know D&D, you got to know the books, and then it references those things. So it's more of a carry-on of a theme as opposed to one from scratch. But like you said, it is a good way to get people like, hey, you've played D&D, come check out these board games, and it's a great gateway bridge to that, or just, hey, we're going to collect some fighters and rogues and we're going to go on some quests. So I think it's just really easy to get new players and introduce them into a worker placement where it's not really that cutthroat of a, oh, if I go here, I'm blocking you and you're never getting anything again. Because you can go in and build buildings, and the buildings give them a benefit and it gives the building owner benefit. So I can almost always get what I'm looking for. I just have to weigh that against what I'm giving you as well for being the building owner. But it's less of a, if I go here, you're stuck, versus, well, what do I want to do and how do I want to negate the downsides of this to try to get as much points out as possible. So very friendly theme, very fun, engaging game, and very good intro. So I enjoy it. I'm glad that it's still around and still have it in my collection too.
Yeah, I was going to say that, games come and go from my collection all the time. I trade for games all the time just to get an opportunity to play them. And then a lot of them just go right back on the trade out pile, right? Because they didn't quite make the cut to make my shelves. But Lords of Waterdeep has been sitting on my shelves for, I don't know, probably 8 years now, ever since I got it. And, I don't see that leaving anytime soon. I mean, you never know. Something might come along and decide to bump it out. But yeah, Lords of Waterdeep. Once again, I'm happy with the people who contributed lists here, that the aggregated list put Lords of Waterdeep at number 24. So stay tuned. Tomorrow, December 3rd, we will be bringing you number 23. And as always, this is a contest that we're running for the month of December. And all you need to do to enter the contest is leave a comment on the video, and a comment on each video gives you additional entries. So go ahead and leave a comment on this video. Tell us what you think about Lords of Waterdeep. And if you don't have an opinion on Lords of Waterdeep, just tell us what your favorite worker placement game is. Or, just say hi. If you don't have anything else to say, that's fine. All right. But I'm Steven. That's John. We're from Just Got Played. And thanks for watching.